Welcome to Season 3 of the Craft Beer Connoisseurs Podcast. I'm Brett. If you're new to the podcast, we are three friends and a producer who like to showcase craft breweries and their beers. Also, we like to end every episode with a short conversation on a variety of different topics. If you're not new to the podcast, well, you know what to expect. The three connoisseurs haven't changed, and the producers are always a wild card. Whether you're new or returning, please feel free to listen to all of our previous content. And remember to follow us on Instagram at Craft Beer Cons, send a friend request on Untapped, or subscribe on YouTube at Craft Beer Connoisseurs. Also, drop a comment, like, and subscribe on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you listen to your podcast. Now, for today's episode. Welcome to the Craft Beer Connoisseurs. I'm Brett.
I'm Chris.
And I'm Tyler, and along with us today is producer Liam.
Hey, Liam.
Hello, Liam.
What's up?
A resounding nothing from him.
Silent.
Must be nervous.
Yeah,
Might be.
I think so.
Stage fright.
We'll get him warmed up. So in today's episode, we're going to be reviewing Brauwerk Hoffman, which is in Rockland, Ontario.
Ooh. We're going to be having two beers, as we normally do. The first is going to be a Pilsner, which is the German Pilsner. And the second is Helio, which is a pale ale.
Yes, and to end up the episode, we're going to hit you up with some fun German beer history and facts. Okay, so Brauwerk Hoffman is located at 733 Rue Industrial Unit 5.
See,
You should have done the 733.
Yeah, that's a big number for me.
And you did the Sank, but you didn't do like a more of a French pronunciation of industrial. Because you said industrial instead of industrial.
Industrial.
There you
go.
There we go.
But then you hit us with a Sank.
Right?
Anyways, keep
I
going.
am quite bilingual, don't worry. So, it is located in Rockland, smack dab in between Highway 17 and the Ottawa River. The building itself sits in an industrial plaza with an auto repair shop, an indoor golf facility. So, get the snow tires on, go for a round of golf, and have a couple pints.
Sweet.
Right? It's also just a hop, skip, and jump away from the arena. So, if you want to watch some hockey and come by, stungle back to the Brauwork, do it.
Yeah.
There's a lot of things you can do in Rockland.
Apparently so.
It sounds like it, including Broken Stick is very close, right?
Yes.
We were just up there a few weeks ago.
Yep.
So the brewery itself is owned by Eric Manville, who's the head brewer, and there are some other partners that have helped him
Must be
get
silent.
that started. Yeah,
Very
kind of
silent.
like Liam. So you may recall we actually had Eric on the podcast when we were at Broken Stick for their Oktoberfest event.
Right.
And so we were talking to him. He gave us the Marzen on that episode, so we tasted that. And during the interview, you may remember we said, hey Eric, you want to do a main episode with Brauwerk Hoffman? And he said yes. So right then and there, we're like, all right, let's pick the beers that you want to have, and we took them home with us. And here we are.
I feel like I'm in that conversation again. You just did such a great job of, painting the picture.
Just bringing it back.
It was probably honestly the quickest conversation we've had with a brewery to say, hey, can you give us beers? Yep.
Yeah. It was very convenient. I'll tell you that
absolutely.
much.
Yeah, no, it worked out. So the Brauwerk Hoffman actually originated in Quebec with a location in Campbell's Bay, with the plan to eventually expand to the Ontario side. So just to kind of summarize what kind of happened from the discussion with Eric, I mean, you kind of did that a little bit, but I'll elaborate a little bit more in terms of making its way into Ontario. They signed into this building in February of 2020. They submitted plans with the town a week before COVID. We've seen this time and time again.
Yeah.
Yep.
And this thing called lockdown hit. And so they kind of rushed to get, everything kind of completed in order to be open for November 2020. So again, another brewery that had to go through the trials and tribulations of the COVID experience at a very difficult time. So they're up and running. They're making beers, and we're drinking beers.
Thank goodness.
Yeah, it is pretty cool that we've spoken to Eric already and had him on our podcast to get the information already about this brewery. So if people want more information, straight from the source, if you haven't already listened to our Oktoberfest episode, producer special, then definitely listen to that.
Right, and I think Liam actually has to say thank you to Len. So in that WhatsApp group, he should be saying, hey, you did majority of the work for this one, technically.
It's true. It's true.
I'm not saying Liam did nothing, but we can say maybe a hair bit more.
But Len did a lot of the legwork there.
The day of
Yeah.
as well.
Right.
That's the thing is being a producer at a location, you you do a lot more.
It's more work than, Liam's doing right now.
And you get paid 2 times as much.
Len was hurting.
Wait, what?
Len was hurting at the end of the day.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Liam, he's not hurting over there.
I
He's just,
didn't know we paid these producers. I'm still stuck on that.
I didn't say we paid them. I just said 2 times as much. Twice as much as 0 is still 0.
Liam's just sitting over there being like, when do we get to the beer?
Yes.
When do we get to the drinking with the beer?
Exactly. Do you give us some information on the brewery
So
itself?
in terms of the brewery itself, once you get inside, right, it's a great feel when you walk in, multiple taps, the chalkboard listing. And then when you make your way to your seat with your pint or flight or, schooner or whatever you glassware that you're drinking a beer out of.
Whatever your vessel is.
Stein, yeah. You get to see the whole brew house. And I'm a big component of when you're going to a brewery to be able to see the brew house while you're drinking your beer.
It's pretty cool.
Right?
Yeah.
You get immersed in the atmosphere.
Exactly, right? So obviously by the name, as Eric mentioned on the podcast, they go with a lot of German styles, taking, with pride and brewed with their respective style guidelines. So they're not, divvying away or putting any, what do you say? Yes, thank you. I was like, I was stumbling upon words there. Man, my goodness. Anyway.
We got there.
Thank you. Yes. So traditional is the way to go.
Yeah, it's a very multicultural episode here. We're dealing with some French, a little bit of English, we've got some German inspiration here, so it's all coming together.
And like we saw that, how they do it with the respective style guides when we tried the Marzen on the episode, and that was brewed. Like I think I mentioned it then, exactly how you would expect a Marzen to taste, to look like a Marzen. So definitely already have that feel from trying it, so I expect these next 2 to be exactly the same.
Wow, there you go. Yeah. So they do on Untappd have 41 beers, and
quite a bit.
I would assume that they're all fairly traditional.
I would think so.
And we're going to talk about the styles of German beers, I think, a little later on.
But
we do have 41 on Untappd here for the brewery, with an average rating of 3.65 and around 5,000 check-ins.
5,000, yeah.
Yeah, so not too bad.
Yeah, and they're, just over 2 years old, right? So,
yeah,
pretty good.
Seems like enough people have had it.
Yeah,
that's for sure.
In terms of us having beers, we've not had 41 of their beers. That's for sure.
That's sad.
Brett, you have had 2.
Correct.
You have had the Marzen, of course, on the producer special, and the Hopfenweiss, which is a hybrid of beer styles. What beer styles is that?
So it was like a Berliner Weiss and a Hef.
Oh, okay.
Makes
Yes. So there was some banana, some clove, but there was also some bubble gum coming through too. It was quite a unique beer, actually.
Nice. Well, Tyler, you and we've just had the Marzen
For sure.
On the episode, and Liam, donut.
Big old
But
zero.
Len,
Len had the Marzen.
see, Liam, this is the problem. You didn't do the work, you don't drink the beer.
Now, what would a brewery be? A German brewery, especially, without German food, right?
They'd still be a brewery.
Well,
He's got you. I mean, technically, he's right.
Yeah.
fair enough.
I am correct, yes.
But definitely having authentic German food, which Brauwerk Hoffman does have, is, kind of elevates that German experience. So they've got schnitzel, bratwurst, pretzels, an apple strudel if you're in the mood for some dessert.
I love a good
Right.
strudel.
I haven't had an apple strudel in a while, and now I'm like, maybe I should get one.
Like a schnitzel, a pretzel, and a strudel. That there. Bingo,
There you
bango,
go.
bongo.
Yes.
I'm in.
That's
and
a
then
three-course
drink
meal.
drink a German Pilsner of Das Boot, and you got yourself a time.
There you go. How can we get their beers? Brett, besides seeing Eric in person and
Yes.
drinking
So
them?
there's no direct shipping at this time.
Oh, okay.
I know it's in the process. It's in the works.
Yep.
And as per the conversation we had with them, they're about 99.9% in the LCBOs.
Is it in the Brauworks? Come on.
Goodness.
Give me that one.
Yeah,
That's a good one. That's a good one.
Thank
Yeah.
you.
Hey, well done. So, in order to get your hands, whatever you want on Brauwerk Hoffman products, you're going to have to make your way down to the Rockland area,
Okay.
Wow.
which is a great tour because we were there.
I was just going to
It's
say,
a nice drive.
We looked this up too. I think after our time down there, and there's quite a bit to see and do.
Oh, absolutely.
Like it's a destination in and of itself. And I mean, you rhymed off like 18 different things to do just in the near vicinity, right? So
Yeah, that's just like within the same plaza.
yeah.
Yeah.
So if you are there, the hours of the brewery are 11 to 8 Wednesday, Thursday, and then Saturday to Friday.
Wednesday, Thursday, and Saturday, 11 to 8.
Okay, there we
Fridays,
go.
11 to 9.
That's a strange setup.
Yeah, Liam. What are you going to do?
Just like that extra hour on the Friday.
Yeah.
But
Interesting.
hey, happy hour, 8 to 9 on Friday.
You get that extra hour. There you go.
True. And then everybody's got enough time to go home to bed for 10.
Yes.
Just like you, Chris.
Oh, yeah. All right. Well, we're going to link to their information as we always do on our social media.
And let's get on to the first one, boys. A big shout out and thank you to Eric from Brauwerk Hoffman.
Hey, thanks. Big shout out. Yeah.
Thanks a lot, Eric.
Yeah, thanks for meeting us in at Broken Stick, giving us beers. It's for this main episode.
Yeah, I mean, you had no intention of doing it until we came up and
We
said,
kind of
"You're
wrangled
on."
you in, and here we are.
Yeah.
So the first beer we're having today is the Pilsener, and Chris, you'll talk about that in a little bit in terms of the spelling, which is a German Pilsner, or actually on their website is listed as a blonde lager.
Okay.
Interesting.
Yeah, I thought that was a little interesting for sure. 5.1% ABV, and the IBUs are unlisted.
There you go. So this classic German-style Pilsner, pale yellow in color and hand with a crisp, malty sweetness that finishes with a bitter snap of spicy, floral, noble hops. It's exactly what we would expect in a Pilsner or a Pilsner.
Yeah. So this
Yes.
this Pilsener is meant to be lighter in color, drier, and a touch more bitter than, say maybe a Czech Pilsner.
The originator of the Pilsner.
Yes,
you will.
that's true. So this beer is, as we've kind of alluded to, spelt differently than Pilsner, as you would normally see. So there's an extra E in there after the S, so it's Pilsener. And the reason is because that distinction, or that spelling, is given to Pilsners which are brewed according to the original Pilsner process. So it's kind of similar to the, champagne versus sparkling wine thing, where technically champagne is only champagne if it's from the Champagne region of France. So kind of the same idea.
I know more about wine now.
There you go.
Did you not know that?
I'm not a champagne or sparkling wine person, so...
Well, there you go.
Right. But speaking of things that you probably should do, which is not drink wine. I needed some way to segue on that one. So you should probably follow us on Instagram at Craft Beer Cons and Untapped at Craft Beer Connoisseurs. The rating for Pilsener is 3.63 out of 5 with 404 check-ins. Tyler, your turn.
I feel like we're emphasizing the E a little too much, but
Yeah.
Yeah.
Speaking of emphasizing the E too much,
that's about as equal as Brett's transition.
A Brett Pfeiffer transition, everybody. Let's grab your can, let's grab your glass, and let's open her up. All right. Chris, what do we got here?
Yeah, so we're drinking this out of actually a Pilsener glass. So make sure to use your proper glassware.
Very nice. Good pours, fellas. Good pours. All right. Let's see what we got here.
Not Das Boot.
Not Das Boot.
I mean, you could.
We do have one.
This is true.
Or a Stein,
Yes, true.
which we also have.
We have a lot of glassware. Let's just be serious.
We do well. We do well. Light in color.
Yeah.
Yes, indeed.
What are we going with on this one, guys, in color-wise? Light straw, a little bit darker than a little bit light
I'll
straw,
go with the light straw.
Yeah, like almost like peachy, maybe a little bit.
Kind of see that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know what? It's like when I think of Pilsners, I think of them being very translucent, right? Like seeing right through them. And this
Yeah, more
one has
so.
a little bit of cloudiness, actually.
Yeah. Yeah, and I mean, that could be a little bit due to the coldness of the beer than which we have. I don't know if that's affecting the opaqueness.
I did hear they were stored very well, these beers.
Yeah, that's what I heard too.
Well, yeah.
Well, yeah.
Yeah, Liam's storage methods are interesting, right?
Something to be sought after. If anybody wants to know.
Quite a bit of carbonation coming through, though.
Yes, that is one thing I
my
noticed.
Yeah.
A lot of carbonation. A nice little head on it. Some good tight bubbles, if you will. And yeah, I'm looking forward to getting this. What do you guys? Do you guys smell anything?
No. That's mostly just because I can't really smell too much right now. That's besides the point.
I do smell that the malt coming through.
Yep.
It's pretty heavy on that malt on the nose. So that's almost all I'm getting on the nose, basically.
Yeah, I would agree from what I can smell of it.
I would concur with that. All
Beautiful.
right. Do we want to get sippy?
Yes, we
Yeah.
do.
All right.
Let's do that.
Well, let's sip
That's
a
why I'm
little
here.
bit.
That's why you're here, right?
Yeah, Brett, why don't you talk about the can a little bit, and Chris and I will get into it.
I knew you were going to. Transitions. I'm terrible at them. Anyway, so pretty much a basic style beer, just, with the Pilsener.
Yes.
Right? We're going to emphasize that E. It does say it's from North German. It's a North German Pilsner.
Yeah.
I don't know why it's not labeled as that. Anyway.
That's interesting to note, though. Keep that in the back pocket. You said North German.
That is correct.
Okay, keep that in the back pocket.
Okay.
All right.
And mostly just kind of going through what the beer means, right? So the Straw Blonde Lager honors the 19th century Norman Germans who settled in the area, respected for their craftsmanship, humble and honest nature, and their beer strives to continue through these characteristics. So this beer is brewed in small batches, using the barest yet highest quality of German malts and hops, and refusing to use the adjuncts. This beer is as honest and true as it gets. So this is going to be a very honest beer.
There you go. Hence the Pilsener.
Yes.
Right? And the extra E. So.
And now I can finally drink this.
Yes.
Thank goodness.
Please dip into it.
What are you getting there, Chris? Anything?
I mean, it definitely tastes like a Pilsner. It's really, it's similar to me. I'm trying to recall what beer exactly we had on the Paris episode, but it's kind of the same idea for me as it's made in that traditional style, and you're getting, the Pilsner the way it's supposed to taste and the way it's supposed to be brewed, and that's coming through in the beer.
Yeah, for sure. I think because this is a very traditional beer, there's some spiciness to it. There's some floral. I don't know if you guys are picking up on that as well, but very, very traditional, and you find that in this German Pilsner kind of style.
Chris, just so you know, that was the Bohemian Pilsner with a Czech Pilsner.
Yes.
So it makes sense.
Nice.
And yeah, I'm getting less, not so much spice, but the floral
Like a
notes
herbal,
for
maybe?
sure.
Yeah,
Herbal.
herbal.
Herbal sounds
Yeah.
good. Yeah.
Yeah, maybe we can meet on that then. But yeah, there's a little bit of a spiciness to it, but not like when you say spicy, you think hot.
Yeah.
Sometimes, right?
Right.
But not in that essence.
No, just like a type of spice.
Yeah.
I think it definitely heavily carbonated too,
Yeah.
which is exactly what you expect from Pilsner. Firstly, thank goodness it's not flat. But
yeah.
but yeah, you are definitely getting almost seems like a little bit of clove on the back end.
Yeah, that's spice, and the more I'm drinking it, the more that's coming through actually, and maybe
The spice of it.
maybe it's because we're talking about it, but that definitely is coming through more. But yes, lots of carbonation, which gives it that crispness, which you would again expect in a Pilsner. You would expect a nice crisp Pilsner.
Now, based off the glassware, I'll make a comment on it. Is when I go to take a sip of it, I'm also getting smell at the same time, right? Because the way that this glass is constructed is it's almost like I don't know, like a tunnel, if you will.
Which is the purpose of the proper glassware, right?
Exactly, and that's why I want to make a comment about it, just to make you a little bit happier. So, Liam,
Appreciate
anything
that.
else you want to add? No. Okay.
You know what? Whatever makes Chris happy makes me happy.
Oh wow!
Wow.
You've never said that about me, but I get that. Top
Whatever
five
makes you
flavor-
happy makes me.
Top 5 flavor profiles. I'll get these ones. You guys keep drinking. Number 1, light. Say it, 5.
That's one thing though. I don't feel this beer is light. It drinks heavy for me.
Well,
At least me personally.
Yeah, like I wouldn't necessarily say it drinks heavy in general, but I would say maybe for a Pilsner, it drinks heavier than you might expect.
Yeah,
so I agree.
sure.
I don't really find this to be a light beer.
Correct.
And it's also 5.1.
Tyler, yourself?
Yeah, which is on that upper end of a traditional German or Czech Pilsner.
Yes.
Which it's not. I mean, that's not crazy. 5.1 is not crazy.
Which actually
good.
I know we're kind of getting away from the flavor profiles, but which we kind of saw when we had the Marzen, because I remember that one was like 6.5, which to me felt high for a Marzen, right?
Yeah.
So maybe that's a Brauwerk Hoffman thing. They do high ABV.
Get to the top of the ABV on those flavors. Those beer types. Number 2 is clean.
Definitely is clean.
Yeah.
I think there's no.
Yeah, that makes sense.
We get that.
3, subtle.
Yeah, I mean, it is subtle in the sense that there's no one flavor that just like jumps out at you, right?
Right, and I think that goes back to our earlier conversation about the herbal or the spice aspect of it.
Yeah.
It's there, but it's not overpowering.
Right.
And it took you a bit to kind of get to that, right?
Totally.
Yep.
Good?
Oh, yeah.
Excellent. 4 is malty.
Again, that was more so on the nose, not really through drinking the beer itself.
Agreed.
Yeah. I'm still getting a little bit of, I think, that flavor from the malt. And then 5 is yeasty.
Nah. Like some beers, you can definitely get the yeast coming through. This one, I'm not really picking it out particularly.
For sure.
Yourself, Tyler?
Yeah, no, I agree with that. And I think that there would have been other options like we like to throw in there, right? Like we could throw in herbal, we could throw in spice, we could throw in like clove. We could have got a little bit more specific with what we're kind of pulling out of that, right?
And I would have thrown in crisp as well.
Yep,
Yeah.
crisp as well.
Excellent. All right, in terms of other people's thoughts besides ours, let's have some Untapped user thoughts. And Tyler, you have the first one.
Yeah, thank you for that. So I've got the first one. It's Derod Sundstrom with the handle of Beer Chest. November 21st, day before my birthday, stated, very smooth and easy drinking, great combination of malt, yeast, and crispness, which just kind of dovetails off
There
of
you
what
go.
you just said, Chris. And they rated it a 4 out of 5.
Nice. So the next one comes from Happy Domer with
Okay.
same handle of Happy Domer. On September 6th said pale yellow in color, crunchy. Okay, that's interesting. Malty sweetness that can be perceived in the aroma and flavor and ends with a bitter touch of noble, spicy, and floral hops. And Happy Domer gave it a 4 out of 5.
That is one thing that we didn't touch on is the bitterness in terms of the beer in the back end. It's got a little bit of bitterness there.
Yeah, as it sits.
Yeah, nothing outrageous.
Yeah,
though.
nothing extreme.
Yeah, and I kind of go back to maybe even like clean, right? Like the way that it finishes is it doesn't finish fast, right? Like I still have a good mouthfeel of it now as I'm sitting here and I put the beer down for a second to kind of go through those Untapped ratings, and I have it in my mouth still.
Yes.
But it's not negative. Like it's not in a bad way, right? Like
It makes you want to have another sip, doesn't it?
yeah, like
Yeah, it
to
does.
kind of clean it out a bit,
Yeah.
right?
Cleanse the palate. I get you.
Yeah. So I'm going to start our ratings off then, because why not? And I'm going to give it a 3.75. We got to make sure Liam gets all these numbers, Liam. 3.75.
Yeah, so I'm going to agree with you, Tyler. I'm going to go with the 3.75, which is like a little bit higher than my traditional kind of Pilsner or lager
Same.
rating. But again, the way this beer is tasting, I can tell that there's been, the proper care, if you will, and work put into it.
Yeah, so I didn't give a whole lot of explanation, but I think you're like right on there. It's done really well, and again, this is above my average, especially for this kind of style. And yeah, I concur.
You're just respecting the proper brewing techniques, right?
Yeah.
There you go. I'm also going to be at a 3.75. We're just trying to make it easier for producer Liam, because really all he's been doing so far is running a calculator and drinking a beer. But he did give me his rating telepathically as a 3.25.
And there you go. Liam did the math, and I did it in my head, Liam.
We don't even need him anymore.
That's going to give us an overall team score of 3.625. And so we're going to be moving that
Up, yes, indeed.
to a 3.75 because 3 of us are better than Liam.
Correct.
Of course. So what we're going to do now is have another beer.
All right, we are back with another beer in hand.
We are
Well, not really my hands. I guess it's
Not yet. It will be, though.
sitting on the table. Yeah.
So the second beer is called Helio, which is a pale ale. It's 5.6% ABV, and IBUs are, again,
Unlisted. Yes.
Unlisted. Yeah.
wow. Love it or unlisted, I guess.
So this beer pays homage to the almighty god Helio, who is the god of the sun and also apparently a major character in God of War.
Yeah, I figured you'd be able to explain that, Chris.
No, not me.
Yeah.
No.
Yes, the new God of War Ragnarok. They just came out here. It's a PlayStation game.
Yeah. No, I'm still on PS3, so.
PS3, MLB, Show 10.
Yeah.
Back when Brett Laurie was actually good.
I think that was on my PS2.
It was on your PS2, yeah. And it was Joe Mauer.
Yeah, Joe Mauer on
Was
the
on
cover.
the cover, yeah.
Yeah. All right.
God, memories. I'm sorry. That
Those commercials were hilarious, though.
They were.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, they were pretty good.
We had a good time.
Anyway, let's back to the beer.
Yes, we digress. So this is a bright summer-inspired hoppy pale ale, and it's brewed with the finest malted barley, wheat, and oats, and it's loaded with an abundant amount of Galaxy, Citra, and Amarillo hops, which are bursting with tropical flavors.
Can you 100% guarantee that this is the finest malted barley?
Well, apparently Eric can at Brauwerk
You know what?
Hoffman.
I was going to say the same thing. It's like, finest malted barley. That's a lot of research that would have been put into that.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So the nectar of the divine origin is sure to be enjoyed in the presence of the radiant crown of Helios and also ourselves.
Very good.
Because
Is that a line from God of War or something?
no, it was the line that was on their Instagram post. Which also you probably wouldn't know because you don't have Instagram.
No, that is true.
Anyway,
Okay.
so on Untapped, Helio has 13 check-ins with an average rating of 3.68 out of 5. Liam over there doing some work. Good job.
And
It's about time.
I was just
Right?
going to say,
That's what I
we're at
said.
such a place in our lives that we celebrate such small things.
Yeah.
And that's Liam. I know where you're going.
Yep.
All right. Grab your
Gonna have
glass.
to put an E beside this one. I wanted to go exactly over there, but that's fine.
There you go.
We won't.
We're going to grab our glass, grab our can, and let's get our fingers on it. Let's open her up.
Liam and his small fingers did, in fact, open it up.
There you go.
Oh, Liam.
Right?
All right, well,
I'm pretty sure he's walking out the door right now. He's done.
yeah, he's had enough of you making fun of him.
Yes.
So we are drinking this pale ale out of a pint glass, so make sure to use your proper glassware.
It's true. You should do that. Little sippy sippy over there.
Little overflow of the head for you.
Yeah, I had to get into it a little bit early, guys.
Yeah, that's totally fine.
So on the look, I guess, not too dissimilar from the Pilsener that we just had in the sense.
You can't call us out for emphasizing the E too much and then come back and then slam the E in there.
Well, you guys were like Pilsener.
Well, I mean, he's not wrong.
No, I know, but even just the way, like, there's a hard emphasis on it. I just
Pilsener. How's that? Pilsener.
That's better.
Okay.
Anyways, because it is this is more hazy than the Pilsener, but similar color actually.
Yeah, you get a little bit of more cloudiness in there. Definitely going to be some lacing in this one.
Yeah, there's a big head and some decent retention on it too. And so when I was pouring it, I got a little bit
You got carried away.
zealous with
Pour
it. So,
happy, yeah.
Yeah, you know what? It happens from time to time.
It does.
And yeah, so a good head on it, good color on it. Hazy is a good call on it. I'm excited.
Citrus on the nose is what
Yes.
I'm getting a lot of.
As well as the taste of the head. I'll confirm that.
The taste of the head, just the
You
head.
would have had to.
I had to throw my lips over top just in case.
Yes, we didn't want that to hit the carpet.
Well, I figured, Helio being the god of sun might have affected a little bit of this explosion over the top of this head. So I didn't want it to overflow. So
Good idea.
Yeah, well done.
thanks. Why don't you guys start sipping it, and I'll hold the ground here. Then you can get into a bit of the can art there, Brett. But yeah, so I did taste literally just the head on it, and it was nice, light, and fluffy. And I got huge citrus kind of punch off that. I haven't tasted the actual beer itself beyond just that head. So I'm going to do that, and then maybe you guys take over. Do you want initial thoughts, Chris?
Yeah, because Brett and I have taken sips. So I would say definitely the citrus that I was getting on the nose is absolutely coming through on the taste initially. And then it's followed up pretty quickly by a good amount of bitterness.
Mm-hmm. Definitely a little bitter on the back. That tropical bitterness is definitely hitting the head, if you will. In terms of the can, while we just look at things, you definitely can see Helio, the god of sun.
Oh, there he is.
Right? He's literally right there. He's on the can.
Can you confirm that? That is.
I can confirm
There it
because they made me confirm.
Artist rendition.
Yes, right. Anyway, moving on. I'm not really much up in like, terms of gods of sun or gods. Who's got a
gods
beer?
in general.
Did you read a little bit of the back?
Yeah, it's the same stuff that we just said earlier.
Okay, so you just took it right off there,
What?
Did you say something about he rode his horse-driven golden chariot?
No, where's that in here?
Oh!
Yes.
Yeah, I don't think it's the same stuff there.
Yeah,
My
east to
good
west
lad.
every day. I might have cut some stuff out, like him riding the horse. That's fine.
All right. So
You know what? Good for him for riding a horse, and good for him for being God of Sun, and good for him for having a beer after him that we can drink right now.
Yeah, but nice can art, and then there's even like kind of like the Greek columns on the back here, because I assume he's a Greek god.
Yes,
I believe that is correct.
Yeah,
Not a German god, though.
That was probably cut out, of the script as well. So,
Yeah,
who's hitting us with the flavor profiles? I did the last one.
I guess I will do that.
There you go.
So, number 1, citrus. Yes.
yeah, I would definitely agree. That's hitting me now. Are you guys getting any like specific citrus fruit from this one?
I'm gonna, because of the bitterness, I'm gonna go with grapefruit
Yeah, I'm getting a little bit
and
of that.
maybe tangerine as well.
Okay. Yeah.
Granted, my taste buds and my smells have been off for the last few days, so I could be wrong on that, but that's kind of what I'm getting.
Sure.
So it is clementine season, if people are fans of clementines, which I am. And so I had, a couple this morning. And so maybe it's just because of that, but I'm kind of getting that
Confirmation bias of what you wanted.
yeah,
to do,
kind of that clementine feel from it, which, is very similar
Didn't you
to
just have some
orange, but-
pepperettes earlier?
No,
Like, at least it doesn't smell like pepper or taste like pepperettes.
no, that was nuts.
Oh, was it nuts?
Yeah,
Well,
Mixed nuts.
the old mixed nuts.
Jeez, it's a big difference between
Yeah.
pepperoni and a mixed nut. You mixed
Yeah,
nut.
it's a big difference. Yes, you're right.
I get a little bit of an orange zest, a little bit of the grapefruitiness. I don't know if it's like a nectarine.
Well,
perhaps, as
because they did say that this beer is brewed with one of the hops is Citra, which has a lot of that orange flavor that comes through. So it makes sense that's.
I feel as though that
that
is the dominant hop that's coming through.
Yeah.
That's for
It's
sure.
definitely the zestiness of it. Again, we talked
Yeah.
about the difference between like a rind and juice. This is more rindy, and yeah, no, it's nice. It's very pleasant.
Yes, no,
Yeah,
I agree
totally.
with that, for sure. Number 2, hoppy.
Yeah, I wonder if people, when they're putting hoppy, are kind of thinking like bitter. Like I might replace it with bitter.
Okay. Tyler?
Nothing to add.
Okay. Number 3, smooth.
Yeah, I'll jump in on that. I think it's a very smooth beer.
Yeah.
It's going down nice. It's got a creaminess to it that it's not creamy, right? Like it's got a good mouthfeel to it. It's refreshing as well. And not like that's in the flavor profile, but I feel good about drinking this beer.
Yes. It's one of those beers that I feel like, I know it was a one-off or seasonal for them. That would be a good core pale ale to have all year round.
Yeah, for sure.
Right?
Yeah, and I think that when we kind of drifted away from this in this season, as opposed to the other seasons, but we used to kind of talk about like when's the best type of or time to have this beer, right?
Right.
And I think that kind of goes hand in hand with what you're saying, Brett. That this beer you could have it anytime. It could be a cold winter's day, and it's refreshing and reminds you of the time that you're a little bit hotter and it's sunnier and it's beautiful. But I digress.
Okay. Number 4, malty.
Not real.
No.
Like I'm not getting that at all. from
And I
this
feel as
beer.
though this is one of those ones that the more ratings this gets checked in, malty is going to make its way out of the top 5.
I would hope so.
Yes, because I don't get any malts through this at all. And number 5, somebody would like. I'm a big fan of this one. Juicy.
Juicy, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean that goes kind of hand in hand with the citrus for me.
Yeah, for sure. I do think that this on the sip is just like a very first initial sip is I'm getting hit with a big juice flavor profile, and I quite enjoy it. Like I really do enjoy this beer.
Yes.
Yeah. No, it's good.
I'm. Oh my goodness, Liam, what are you doing over there? That's right, nothing.
Oh no! Speak up for yourself, Liam. No.
Well, what are you gonna do?
Yeah.
Yeah. Liam, again. God dang it.
Right.
We need to take the technology away from
He
Liam.
obviously did not pass the class that you have to be a producer.
All right. Poor Liam. Let's go with the thoughts on the untapped users then. We'll just deflect a little bit from the indiscretions of Liam.
Really? You want to deflect from that?
Yeah, go ahead. Read the
never mind.
first one out.
It's
Let's
fine.
go.
I
Come
will
on.
do that. So this one's from Paul S., and his handle is Canada Fox. On November 20th, gave the beer a 3.5. However, due to the stats from Isaiah Pacheco, thank you. I don't really follow the Kansas City Chiefs. But, Patty Mahomes, good for him. And a 30-27 win over the Chargers decided to bump the beer up to a 3.75. So you do see that, depending on the mood that you could be in, beer ratings could be changed.
Yeah, that's
true.
I mean, sometimes we did the same thing. I think with Emma Wedding we had that beer mimosa. I think it got a little jump up just because of what's going on.
Yeah. It's true. It's true.
And I think that's nice. It's nice to have that.
Absolutely.
Yeah, definitely.
Like watching the windstorm.
Yeah, yeah.
Level 12 come through and take out pretty much all of London.
Yeah.
Good times. Good oldies.
And the next one comes from Brad Colleen. Morewood is the handle.
You've had some great handles. We got Happy Domer and Morewood.
Yeah, those ones definitely go together somehow, some way.
Yeah, exactly. So on August 25th, Brad said, another good one, hoppy and a nice citrus balance, and Brad gave it a 4 out of 5. Now, what am I going to give it?
I was just going to say,
might
what are you
ask.
going to give it?
Yeah.
I'm really interested to see what you're going to give this beer.
This is actually really, really nice beer. Nice citrus, and the flavor the bitterness isn't overpowering at the end. But I'm going to agree with Brad. I'm going to give it a 4.0.
Okay. Myself, you know what? More wood, more beer. I like this one. I'm also going to give it a 4. Tyler?
Very good. I'm going to give this one a 4.25.
Oh, even more wood.
And producer Liam is going to give it a 3.25. So overall, that should give us a pretty nice round out kind of.
If Liam figures it out, that'd be great. Yes.
Yeah, so I'm not getting this telepathically from Liam. He figured out the technology. So it gives us an overall rating of 3.875, which we are going to round up to a 4.
Yes.
Nice.
Nice
Solid beer.
Right? And thanks to Eric, and that concludes the review of Brauwerk Hoffman and the beers provided for today's episode.
Yeah, greatly appreciated. So up next, some fun German beer history and facts.
Okay. So with the name of Brauwerk Hoffman, little German involved.
Yes.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's where you're supposed to say pronounce German, but that's fine. And following the heavy style of German beers that they provide to the consumers that walk into the brewery, it's only fitting that we give you some German beer history and fun facts.
Which there is a lot of.
Yes.
So
there's-
I think given the state of what we have we'll kind of go through it, the script. Traditionally, we do this. You're fine with doing 1, 1, 1, 1?
Yes, a little round table action, if you will.
Sure. So
There you go.
I'll take the first one for Liam because he's a little bit shy.
You would do that, yep.
They may not have 3 facts, which is okay.
It's because we took all the good ones.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, Liam really put this together and couldn't think of more
There's
than 2
only so
things.
many facts, right? So
I heard the calculator is very hard to do.
Really struggled.
Yes. Anyway, so I'm going to start with the first one.
Please do.
Okay.
It's your episode, bud.
Thank you. So Germany is home to the world's oldest brewery. Mm-hmm. I will actually elaborate on that. Don't worry.
Yeah, please do. And that's a fact. All right. Moving on.
So the Weihenstephan Bavarian State Brewery in Freising was founded in the year 1040.
So almost 1,000 years ago.
Yes.
Yeah.
So imagine the untapped check-ins.
Isn't that scary? Almost 1,000 years ago.
It's crazy.
We weren't even thought of then.
No.
Yeah. Was there a podcast in 1041 reviewing these beers? No, it was not.
Jeez, my
Right. However, there is evidence that monks in the Weihenstephan Monastery have been brewing beer since early as the 8th century.
Wow.
That's even more time.
That's a long time.
It's a long time. You're right.
Darn monks. All right. So kind of going off that, then the craft beer made in Germany. So
Oh, craft beer's made in Germany. Okay. Good
yeah.
fact.
So here, it isn't though, really, because they have such traditional styles, right? So craft
Yeah.
beers are mostly very aroma-intensive beers in which larger amounts of hops and often new aroma hop varieties or special malts are used. So when we get away from the traditional like 3 or 4 ingredients, which we've talked about before, and we've been educated on through Prudhomme, these beers are very characterized by regionality and a love of experimentation. So you don't really see a whole lot of craft beers per se in the German area, which makes sense because the traditional styles.
Not a lot of hazy IPAs.
Yeah, right. Could you imagine?
Could you imagine a dank juice bomb in 1040?
Yeah, the monastery monk is what they called it. So they actually do have some creative ideas and consistently new variants which they're coming out with. So the craft beer brewers succeed in creating very enjoyable and surprising beers. So their craft beer scene is actually a little bit, I would say, slower kind of coming up. So although the market share of craft beers in Germany has so far only been 1%.
Wow.
So we talk about like the big 3, big 4, big
Yep.
5 here in Canada. It's the same kind of thing there, but we have more craft beer, I think, and the demand of the beers is growing interest. So craft beer and this podcast is on a rise in Germany.
Yeah, I mean, when you've been doing something the same for 1,000 years, it's hard to change that.
Yeah, I would say 1,000+ years, right? Because
Yeah.
we're talking about the very first kind of brewery, but I'm sure things were happening before
Yeah.
the breweries actually were established.
Licensing and all that stuff, right?
Classic in 1040, heck of a thing to get.
So, when we think of, the beers that are German, you think, Pilsners or Pilseners, Marzens, things that are lagers, right?
Hefeweizens.
But actually, until Hefeweizens, until the early 16th century, German beer was actually dominated by ales.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay. I'm learning something.
But that's reversed now. So today, blonde lagers, so, like your Pilsner, for example, dominate over 2/3 of the beer market in Germany.
It's impressive.
Yes.
Yeah.
All right, Liam, what do you got here, bud? Okay. Got it. Nice. All right.
Yeah.
So in 2020, a little bit different than 1040, Germany
Yeah.
ranked 4th in terms of per capita beer consumption at 99 liters, behind the Czech Republic, Austria, and Romania.
Surprised to see Romania in there.
A little bit of a dark horse.
You right? Just come up, from the back of the pack, and all of a sudden sneaking in the antique bronze.
I would like to see, where does Canada rank there?
I do believe we were further down the list at the 27th or 30th range, if I do recall seeing something in the past.
We're definitely in the top 218 countries. I'll tell you that.
Yeah, go us.
You're right. We're not last, though.
It's like the World Cup chant. Go, Canada, go.
Don't worry, Germany's out too.
But that's as good as we could get.
Yeah,
Go,
right.
Canada, go.
Yeah, well,
All right.
it is what it is.
Bro, what do you got?
So, you could have one beer a day for the next 20 years.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Yeah, you're welcome. And still not get to experience all the different beer brands that there are in Germany, as there's over 7,500 different brands of beer.
Wow.
Yeah, so if you go back to earlier in the episode, this is kind of what we were talking about. There's a lot of beer. I believe there was, 41 on Untapped for the brewery, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
And so we're talking about 7,500.
That's a lot of beer.
That's a lot.
But you know what? That seems like an assignment that I might have to complete.
Yeah, I've been looking at some trips. Germany was up there. I don't think I'm going to end up going to Germany, but...
If you could
not this
drink
time.
7,500 beers in your trip to Germany
In 1 week or
in
2
1 week,
weeks?
that'd be awesome.
I don't think I'd be back, boys.
No, I don't think so.
The plane ride home is going to be rough,
It's going to be in a box.
but you're still making it home.
There you go. So a little bit of some history here as well, not as far back as 1040, but there's not really great bonds between Germany and Namibia. You would think, as an African country, what is the connection between these two?
Oh, I'm sure you're going to tell us.
Please tell us. Yeah.
So yeah, in the top in the 2014 top beer consumers list, which is kind of going back to what we were just discussing not too long ago, Germany came in 4th.
So consistent, because in 2020 they were 4th.
Exactly, right? And Namibia followed with 5th. So if we would have got some more of that information from Liam, we would have saw it probably would have been similar. Which is odd that a country like Namibia could win over the United States and Europe. Now, I think Europe is a little bit broad.
Yeah.
Which are placed 17th and 27th, respectively. So, interestingly, in 1884 up until 1919, the Germans colonized Namibia, which is why the German culture remains alive there. And like Germany, Namibia also celebrates Oktoberfest in its capital city, Windhoek. So
I'm sure whoever settled in Nambia taught them how to brew beer.
well, that's the thing is, did you guys know that connection? Because I absolutely did not. And I find this is probably the fact of the podcast.
And like Nambia only has 2.5 million people in the entire country.
Yeah.
Wow.
Right?
Yeah.
There
Which
you go.
is
Thanks, Liam, for that information. But that's one of the things. I thought that was a very cool, interesting fact.
it was. I'm glad that you brought that to our attention.
Thank you, Chris.
Yeah. So the beer market in Germany is a little bit weaker, but more centralized in northern Germany. But southern Germany actually has smaller local breweries. So, like in northern Germany, that's where the bigger breweries are. But almost half of all of German breweries are in the province or state, I guess, of Bavaria. So, if you want to get beer in Germany, probably go to Bavaria. I mean, go anywhere, but
I'm pretty
focus on
sure
Bavaria.
you're not going to be short on beer if you go to Germany.
No.
Right? I'm just going to say that. Fun fact about Germany, though. 83 million people. So Nambia, 2.5. Germany, 83 million. And Nambia is pretty much almost drinking as much as Germany is.
So
Crazy.
Going back to Liam's last fact, 99 liters per person, 83 million people. It's a lot of liters of beer.
Yeah, not bad. Not bad.
Absolutely. All right. My last one.
Well, Liam's.
Yeah, I was going to
Oh,
say.
we're actually talking? Oh,
We've got
yeah.
Liam's last
Sorry,
one
I
here.
forgot about him over there.
Yeah, you want to do it, Chris?
Sure.
Yeah.
The highest density of breweries in the world is found in a place called Offspee, near the city of Bamberg in the Franconia region of Bavaria. Lots of like so there's 4 breweries there. So you might say, that's not a lot, 4 breweries. There's only 1,300 people live there.
Wow.
So that would be like if you had 4 breweries in like the town of Ilderton.
Yeah.
And if that happened, I'd probably move to Ilderton
Yeah, definitely.
because I'd walk home a lot.
Now, the one thing with that, and this kind of goes back again, referencing the main part of the episode, is there's that difference between like the north side and the south side, right?
Yeah.
Yes,
And so, very interesting to see that.
that's true. So I had the last one here, for myself at least.
Yeah.
And it is called, pardon my German. I know Brauwerk Hoffman has a beer called Pardon My French, but we're going to do Pardon My German here. It's called Verein gegen Betrüglichen Schenken.
Close enough,
I didn't look that one up.
Yeah.
Anyway, which translates to the Association Against Fraudulent Pouring. This is actual facts. So this organization was formed in 1899 to essentially prevent people from getting ripped off. So there are 4,000 members, which includes a former mayor, by the way, police the mugs at festivals and beer gardens, looking for those whose beer doesn't reach the top line of the glass. Any glass whose foam dips below the line is in clear violation of what I believe to be a very serious mandate.
Wow. That is hilarious.
Yeah.
Yeah, right?
So,
I mean, good for
Wherever that
consumers,
membership is,
right?
I'm going to sign up and probably be the leader of that.
oh wow. So let's keep this kind of legality kind of themed, right? So Germany is a country that takes its beer seriously. The world-famous Pilsner brand is a product of the country, originating from Bavaria. Now we understand the Czech kind of perspective on it. In brewing, Germany follows a beer purity law, a Reinheitsgebot, right? So that they're officially assented from in 1516. We're getting back there, right?
Yeah, we're going back.
Going back.
Though it has been preceded by other regulations. So obviously there's going to be amendments on amendments on amendments. Classic
amendments.
The law
Bureaucracy.
red tape, all right? The law states that beer should only be made from water, barley, and hops. Now, we talked about this, and that's why I kind of gave a little bit of a foreshadowing earlier on when I said 3 or 4.
Yeah. I did notice that.
Thank you so much. God, the effort that we do.
I didn't
yeast-
notice, but I'm glad Chris did.
Yeah, yeast was...
Liam, did you notice?
Yes.
Yeah, he didn't.
Yeast was added to the list later on. So that's why I said 3 or 4, right? Because yeast was actually added a little bit later on as its importance in brewing was discovered. Now, the law was initially meant to govern brewing in Bavaria only, but other German states adopted it. And in 1906, it was actually made a national law.
Wow.
So that's pretty cool. I like the law.
So basically, if you toss some adjuncts in there, it's no longer beer.
Well, it's not going to be the Pilsner brand.
Right.
It's
Right.
still
In Germany.
beer.
Still beer here, though.
Still beer.
Right.
And that's why we have this insurgence a little bit of the craft breweries coming through.
Yeah, we're going to have to give some Germans some slushy sours.
Yeah.
Or some slurps.
Yeah,
Yeah.
right.
It's
Slurp
all
greens.
slurp grain. So kind of building on that. So if you take that look where there's only 4 ingredients that you can incorporate into beer, and you consider there's 100 types of hops, give or take, 40 different malts, over 200 yeast strains, combined with the almost endless variations of water that you could use in beer. It's basically estimated that you could drink a completely different beer, so at least one ingredient is different, every day for 15 years. So that's almost 5,500 different beers using just those 4 ingredients. So with all those different permutations.
We have an assignment ahead of us.
We got to get 5,500 different beers from 7,500 different
And
brands.
Liam
brands.
is going to take the lead on that and pay for it all. Thank you very much, Liam.
Thanks, Liam. Yeah, so Liam, no more facts from Liam. Sorry, Liam.
He's too busy trying to figure out how he's going to get that credit card bill paid off.
There you go. All right, we are going to round out this episode. We'll be right back with our farewell. All right, that's going to be all for today's episode.
Thank you again for listening. Keep on listening every other Thursday as the Craft Beer Connoisseurs release a new episode, and on our off Thursdays for a producer special.
And make sure to tell your friends, family, and your favorite person from Nambia.
There you go. So from all of us and producer Liam, I'm Tyler.
I'm Brett.
And I'm Chris, and together we're the Craft Beer Connoisseurs.